Good afternoon, everyone. EagleX here, and today I have another top 16 deck list profile, this time for the Latin America Nationals. If you guys did not know, Europe had their Nationals on the same day that Latin America did. It was hosted by Kokui, and I'm going to have this link in the description. We have the top 32 deck lists for the event, and for some of these, they don't have the deck list uploaded, which is fine because I'm going to profile the top 16 anyways, excluding the blank ones. But like I said, it'll be in the description below. If you enjoy this content, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. In first place, the deck that won it all, it was a low fluke deck list profile. And if you guys didn't notice there briefly when I showed all the deck lists, the Latin America competitive meta scene is quite a bit different. It leans a lot more towards control decks, and Lilithloop is a deck that takes really good advantage of control decks as they try to create a very defensive board, but Lilithloop doesn't really care about that as it spams board. It makes a really big, hard to deal with board state, especially when you can play around all the options. Anyways, so the most notable thing from this list is it's pure Lilithloop. Uses purple memory boost to help be consistent and pull out the cards it needs. It uses the promote package party. I call it the promote party. And just to be consistent, and 4 Gazimon to shut down memory boost from their opponents. Everything else is pretty standard. It uses Analog Youth to try to get that memory proc, hatch an egg. If the Zwart stack that swings with the Lilith, bouncing her dies. So that was our first place list by, I think it was Daniel Carreño that played the list. And second place, his opponent was Security Control. This was a BL-Star control, and a notable thing here is he uses Craniumon with Mechanorimon. This provides protection against the Musketeer matchup, which was a lot more relevant over there in Latin America, and they use Black Tide to give Mechanori an extra 1k, so it provides protection against the blue Gabubon decks when they try swinging for game with all their hybrids. Since it's like a security control deck, they try to hide on Tamers to swing for game, and Mechanori provides that protection to lock them out from doing that, forcing them to either Pepsi Bond or to bot deck the Mechanori, or stunning it. Everything else is your pretty standard security control list with the options spread. Cutting down to one of each security Digimon makes sense since they have the BL-Star package. It's not as necessary. And then Mistymon's great tempo against those Bond decks. Moving on, we have Jesmon getting third. This is pretty similar to what we saw over in Europe. It utilizes Analog Youth to get that memory and hatch if the Jesmon stack dies. It uses pretty much everything a staple Jesmon list will use, the newest inclusion being the Biomon and Youth. Then we have another BL-Star control list. This one leans a lot more into the yellow package using 7 Heavens, Happy Bullet Showering, Jewel Schwarmer for the options for BL-Star, and it uses the Izzy stacking method to recover your options, your Zwart defeats, and emphasizes more the security Digimon with maximizing tactical retreat, so it's really oriented around stacking Digimon back into security on top of the options. Then we go to our first Gabubon list. They classify this as Pepsi Bond. It's not Pepsi Bond, it just has security Digimon. One happens to be Geogray. And it's just your traditional Gabubon list with the inclusion of Quadramon and Geogray to give those extra security, defensive options, and aggressive technically too when it gets checked. And the one spicy Vidramon, if you guys didn't see. It's a pretty big level 4. It swings, it restands if you have a blue Tamer out. So that's a really cool one of inclusion. It makes sense. It's not hard to fit it in. It's just kind of like a pseudo Octomon that could do 2 checks. Our next list is another Gabubon list. Just traditional Gabubon, Analog Youth being the newer thing added, using Grizzlies also to help be defensive. A 1 Madoki Betamon, 4 EX Gabus. Nothing super crazy there. Then we have another Agubond list. This one is very heavy on being a little bit more on the aggressive side with your Lightning Joust, but that's pretty standard no Magnadrons is probably the most unique thing because you have so many strong options you want to throw in security. Magnadrons are pretty common. Regardless, you got your 4 promo Greymon and then your optimal Agumons for the Bond Warp or for looping your resources because you don't have card draw. In red, Agumon Expert's a really good way to get your resources for Tamer searching, your finisher, or for just finding the optimal Agumon for your raising area. Then we have another Gabu Bond list. This is just traditional Gabu Rush. 4 Hammer Spark, 4 Ice Ball. They're crazy cards. Great for security checks. Then here's a spicier version of Gabu Rush using Purple Mimi to basically negate the use of a Hammer Spark to make Ice Ball cost 2. A little bit more balanced, right? And then using the hybrid package with your blue Tamers as usual. For Gabu Rush, an absolute blast for the removal of choice. Then we move on to probably the spiciest list here. It's another Agumon list, except it uses a little bit of the EX1 line, Skull Greymon, Mel Greymon, and War Greymon. So you could potentially get a bunch of extra checks with a little bit more aggression, and Skull Greymon can leave you with an on-play effect of the I don't see a Tamer searching Agumon, but he allows you to play an Agumon in suspended state. And that would be a really good target for it, but they don't choose to run it in this list. They emphasize 4 Blaster and 2 Gravity Crush to probably get everything up into their higher levels with the 1 Security plus Greymon that does proc tie still. If it's a Greymon, it will proc the tie, which is really neat. And more synergy for Marcus. Then we have another Lilith Loop list here. This one, actually it's Tidal Loop technically. The main boss monster's Tidamon, uses Lilithmon as support, but you still have this War package, you can still go loop. And it has lots of your aggressive level 4s with the Promote package or Promote Party. And 1 mecha to call with Zwart, which is kind of neat. Analog Youth, so when your Tida dies after doing all the checks, ideally you get some value off of it. 2 Mega Fusion, 1 Manoa, 1 Mat. Just typical purple. Then the last list here is a Musketeer list. This one emphasizes using 4 Analog Youth so you can trash your options more consistently and pick out your Digimon as you go through. All those trashing effects, they use lots of Impmons to get a lot more mill. You don't need as many deputies because you're going to be milling through Analog now, but they still have him so you can do a Gundramon Warp and use options. 4 BL stars, you're going to get lots of value really quickly from the youth because you have, 4, 8, 11, 14 options that can discount BL star. She'll be free a lot of the time, my guess is, with how they build this. Well, if you guys enjoyed this content, like I said, please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate the support as I go through this channel, help it grow, try to keep you guys up to date with the newest Digimon content. With that being said, take care all and have a nice night.